Welcome to the Slow Living Collective podcast. I'm Amy, wife, mother of two and homemaker. Come along with me as I share my love for simple living, growing in my allotment garden, diving into what it means to be an urban homesteader and embracing life as a mother and homemaker. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Slow Living Collective podcast. I'm Amy and we are deep in Christmas season. How are we all doing? How is everyone's stress levels? How is everyone's social battery? Are we all doing good? Okay, now I've got all that out of the way, let's move on with the rest of the episode. Now, December. Oh, goodness me. It's a love and hate thing for me here. It really is. I love Christmas. I really do enjoy it. Despite the fact that I'm always talking about how there are elements to Christmas I don't like. I do enjoy the season of Christmas. I enjoy doing seasonal stuff with my children. I enjoy seeing their faces. I enjoy lots of elements to it. But it can also be a really stressful time of year. And so I wanted to dive into some real practical tips for a stress-free Christmas, because it's almost here, we're almost there. Is the shopping done yet? Are we even shopping this year? Oh my goodness, it's so easy to get overwhelmed, but it really doesn't have to be that stressful. So I want to share some tips, some practical tips, I hope, that are going to help you maybe minimize where you are, how we can simplify things going into Christmas, how we can reduce stress and focus on what's really, really important. So why is being a minimalist in December important? Why is it important? So I don't know about you, but December always feels like a lot. It's busy, it's social engagements, it's getting together with people, it's presents, it's the stress, cooking the big meal, who we're buying what for, do we have any money, what's the budget? It's a lot. And it's a lot alongside a normal life that still has to continue to go on, right? And so Christmas can just be a lot. And I think it's okay to admit that there are elements of Christmas that we don't love. I said in a couple of episodes ago, in a podcast episode, that, you know, it's really difficult when it comes to Christmas, because Christmas is obviously a very joyous season for most people. Not for everyone. For some people, Christmas is a really rough season. And I think it's important to really know, like I said in that episode, that Christmas falls in the deep, dark depths of winter. It comes at a time when we are ready to hibernate, when we are ready to slow down, to come inside, to come within ourselves and just rest and rejuvenate throughout the winter months ahead of spring. And then we have this sort of period where like everything is bright and dazzling and sparkly and we have to socialize again. It just doesn't feel very natural, because we've slowed down through autumn and we're at this place where we're ready to hibernate, and then suddenly, like, poof, we've got to come out again for 3 weeks, and then we can go back inside again for another 2 months. Like, it doesn't feel that natural. And you know, Christmas has always been there. No shade to Christmas, right? And if you're religious, certainly no shade, but it's just a lot, isn't it? It doesn't fall at the right time. And so certainly, you know, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, I appreciate that not all of my listeners are in the Northern Hemisphere. And so, you know, it might be difficult to relate to some of this content at the moment about Christmas, because Christmas is in your up season if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. You know, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere listening to this, you're in the peak of summer and you're at that point where it's natural. But in the Northern Hemisphere, it's this very sort of unnatural sort of, we come out again so we can just go back inside again. And so it's a lot. And so being more minimal in our approach to December and the holiday season can be really helpful if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. So one of the most important things to do, like I said in that episode, was to just set realistic expectations, because it's, like I said, because it's not that natural seasonally for us, it can feel like there is a lot going on, and so it's okay to just say no, and to just really simplify your holiday plans and just focus on those things that are really truly important to you, whether that be traditions or activities, the things that you, your family, your loved ones enjoy the most. Just focus on the things that are really important and let go of the rest. So for example, for me, in the lead up to Christmas, all I want to do is just enjoy a few seasonal bits and bobs. I like to go and see some Christmas lights. I like to go to, there's a Christmas event in the town where we live. I like to take the kids along to see that, and Santa does a little parade, and that's at the end of November, and so that's always feels like a good beginning to Christmas. And then we like to spend time with my husband's family. And then we also like to spend time with my family, and that's where it finishes in terms of our traditions. We like to spend Christmas Day, Boxing Day and the day after as family days, and we like to have a very, very quiet, slow, simple Christmas week, because it's very overwhelming for all of us, but particularly having young children. There is a lot of presents. As simple and as small as we do things, there is still a lot of presents for the children, and I'm so grateful, but it does get very overwhelming for them. And so we like to do it slowly and simply. We don't do all the presents on one day. We just let them enjoy their presents that they get, and then move on to another set and then another set, and because we see different family at different times, and that really, really works for us with small children, that they're not just getting this big pile of presents on one day, tearing through them, not really seeing what they've got, and so it's nice for them to just be able to enjoy what they have, and that's it for us. Just it's very family based for us at the moment, and it's very quiet, and we just focus on those things and just let go of everything else. Our friends will still be there in the new year, and as I said in the episode a couple of weeks ago, like, our friends are pretty much on the same page as us, so everyone's very happy not to be forced into doing extra stuff in December. But yeah, we just like to focus on the activities and things that bring us a lot of joy, and try and disengage from everything else. I definitely feel as a parent, well, I don't feel it, but I can understand, there's always this push for wanting to provide the most perfect childhood. And whether that be, and this is no shade to anybody who chooses to do these things, they're just not personal choices of mine. Whether it be trips to Lapland, or I don't know, Centre Parks at Christmas, all these very expensive high ticket things, or it might be a Polar Express journey, and while I don't doubt that these things aren't the most amazing, the most magical, and the most incredible for the children and for the parents as well to enjoy seeing how their children react, it's just more stuff, it's just more things to have to take on in an already busy season, and it's personally just not for me. I'm very passionate about keeping things calm, and keeping things very intentional, and keeping things very unbusy. The season is so busy, and I don't want to put extra pressure on myself, but I don't want to put extra pressure on my children either. There's a lot of pressure to perform when it comes to Christmas, and I'm not here for that. So we try and keep things very much to a minimum for them, so they don't get overwhelmed, because if they get overwhelmed, they struggle then obviously to regulate their emotions, and it's something that we are constantly trying to help them with all the time. And so we just opt for a slower and more simpler way of approaching Christmas, and that just works really, really nicely for our family. So maybe that's something that, if that you feel like maybe that aligns with you, that maybe you feel like your Christmas season is always so busy and stressful, then maybe you just think about decluttering your holiday traditions. And what I mean by that is just figuring out the things that really bring you joy and fulfillment, and just let go of those things that either stress you out, don't serve you, you don't feel like they align with you. Because I think when you streamline things, you realize that you actually have everything you need, and it's a lot more meaningful than doing the things you feel like you're supposed to do. So that's been a big one for us. Another one is being more mindful about gift giving, because listen, Christmas, it's just like a frenzy of gift buying. And now here in the UK we seem to get involved with Black Friday, and it's just like you're just being pounded with consumerism from every single avenue. Nothing's changed. It's funny because my children were recently looking through the Argos catalogue, and it was my fault because they're very small now, actually. Before I carry on, our Sainsbury's has an Argos in it, and when I saw the little Argos catalogue outside, I was like, I've got to get one, because I loved looking through the Argos catalogue when I was a kid and picking all the toys I wanted. And like, I knew, even as I was saying it to my husband, I knew what I was entering into. That's consumerism. It's right there. But the joy of that memory made me do it. And so the Argos catalogue's really slim. It's really, really slim. I was like, is this it? It was so small. I could carry it between two fingers. It was tiny. Like when I was a kid, it was like a Bible, man. It was considerable. I loved it. Anyway, so I picked up two, so they had one each, so there was no fighting, and they had a great time just looking through the book. I didn't quite enjoy it when my daughter was like, I want the Barbie dream house, and I'm like, £300? £300? Are you kidding me? What is this world coming to? I had a Barbie dream house as a kid, and it wasn't £300. And my daughter has my old Barbie dream house. But, it's consumerism everywhere, at every angle. And listen, if you want to buy your kid the Barbie dream house, you earn your money, you get on with your good self. But in my world, no. It's just, £300 for a piece of plastic now. No. It's not something that I would entertain. But, it's just this product of consumerism. Like, my daughter was quite happy with her Barbie dream house, my old Barbie dream house, until she saw this other one, and then she's like, I want this one. Now, my kids don't watch TV. We don't have a TV, so they don't get bombarded with adverts of toys like I used to get bombarded with. So in that sense, I feel like we do a little better. But the frenzy of what to buy is everywhere, and what we have tried to do is just approach gift giving with a little bit more mindfulness and purpose, and just be creative and thoughtful about what we're gifting people, if we are gifting people things that really just go beyond material possessions. And something that really sprung to mind for me is that I was sort of caught in this loop for a while of, within a group of friends, we would always buy stuff for just the kids, but it was never done with any thought on my part. I can't say about the others, but it was never done with much thought, just that I felt like I was obligated to do it, and I would spend not tons of money, but more than I wanted to spend, and on stuff that ultimately just goes in the bin. And so I was kind of grateful to be freed from that loop. But it's just an example of, sometimes we just buy gifts because we feel like we have to. And when you are more mindful and you can be more thoughtful about gifts, or just say no, I don't want to play any part in this, thank you for the offer, but no. And then you are able to, hopefully be able to have more profound connections with, the people around you, because, I don't know, gift giving stresses me out. I get stressed doing it, I get stressed receiving it, and I appreciate it, obviously, but it's stressful around Christmas time. And another way you can sort of really be more minimal around Christmas is around your decorations. I do like decorating for Christmas, but not hardcore. I have a tree. We have lots of lovely decorations on it, and we always buy one new decoration a year. Each of the kids gets one new decoration a year. We put a few little bits around the room, but nothing excessive, and it's just in our little small living room, and that's it. And it's just because I like to have, I like it for the children, but I did it before I had the children as well. I like to have this sort of very Christmassy environment, and I like for them to be able to enjoy it as much as possible and really embrace the season. But also, I don't want to overwhelm our space. We live in a small home. I don't want to overwhelm our space. I don't want too much stuff out. I like to keep things minimal. I like to not be cluttered, because I operate better when things aren't cluttered. And there is no greater feeling for me than after Christmas, when all the celebrations are done, packing it all away and having that clear feeling like, yes. I always used to be the kind of person that really liked to keep the tree up for a while, and there was no way I would take it down before New Year. Like, who even were these heathens that took their tree down before New Year? Now the tree has to be gone by New Year, because I don't want to step into that New Year filled with clutter. It just looks sad after Christmas. So I'm quite happy to enjoy it through December, get it up, maybe earlier than other people. We don't have a real tree because I'm allergic, so I don't mind getting it up early, enjoying it, let the kids enjoy it, enjoy the ambiance of the decorations and the tree. But then when Christmas is done and the celebrations are over, let's enjoy taking it down and resetting our space and getting ready for the new year, because that feels good. So actually not having too many decorations makes that quite a simple job as well. So we're definitely not like foil decoration people. We've not got streamers coming off the ceiling, just a few little bits around. And you can go and check out my Instagram, and you'll find probably pictures there of my decorations, but it's not too much. But when we redid our living room in the last year, I something that I just kept sitting and thinking about was like, well, now I've put furniture in different places. Where am I going to put the Christmas tree? Where am I going to put the Christmas tree? So that was stressful, but we found a place. But it's, I'm not going to live my 11-month life just for this Christmas tree to exist. So yeah, just simplifying things allows you to sort of create this very warm, inviting Christmas atmosphere into your home without overwhelming it with clutter. And then you aren't so much like, get this thing down, although I still feel that way. So another good tip for being more mindful ahead of Christmas is just to I know we're right there now, but we've still got a little bit of time left. Just organize your schedule and set boundaries. It's still time to set boundaries. There is still time to set boundaries and prioritize just making time for you, and just making time for the things that really matter through the season, and just disregarding everything else. And it wouldn't be me if I wasn't going to talk about the power of being present and gratitude. So I think a really key element in finding a nice minimal flow throughout the Christmas season is just being present and being mindful and just enjoying it, putting your phone down, putting your stress to one side. And hopefully by the time you've listened to this, right, you're going to employ some of these techniques and you're like, right, I'm not going to be stressed this year. And just be really grateful for the simple things that we can do in the Christmas season. Just being content with being present and being with our loved ones, whether they're our family, our friends, the family we created for ourselves, whatever that looks like for everyone. Just finding the joy in that simplicity, because it's actually the most important thing, and we get so bound up with gift giving and decorations and going on the Polar Express, and actually those things are, each to their own, whatever. If that's what you like to do, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we put so much emphasis on those things, and we end up forgetting, I think, that just the contentment of being present with our loved ones or the people we want to spend that time with, or that time by ourselves, is actually perfect and is what creates such a simple joy. So I hope that these tips were helpful. This is the end of this episode, talking about minimalism in December and how we can hopefully employ these tips to create a bit of a more stress-free season. Whatever your Christmas looks like, you can embrace being a little more minimalist if that's what you want, and just having a bit more of an intentional approach to the holiday season. And I just want you to remember, it's not about doing more. It's about savouring the really meaningful moments and finding those moments of tranquility, just buried deep in that holiday hustle and bustle, because it feels like a lot, but they are there, those moments of tranquility, of presence, of gratitude and of mindfulness. So thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to sharing more valuable insights on slow, simple living and more minimal living and intentional living in episodes coming up next year. But I hope your December is going to be, the rest of your December at least, is just going to be filled with joy. Thank you so much for joining me in another episode. I am so grateful to each and every one of you for listening. If you want to come follow me over on Instagram, you can find me there at The Slow Living Collective. You can check out the blog, which is theslowlivingcollective.com. And until the next episode, continue enjoying the Christmas season, and I hope you just find a way to take some mindful moments to slow down, rest, relax, and don't get too overwhelmed. Okay guys, thank you so much for listening. I will catch you in the next episode.